What just happened in the NFL? Two massive trades, one shocking unretirement, and now TJ Watt trade rumors? The league is turning upside down before our eyes. And Falcons fans, this could change everything for you. Buckle up because what we're about to break down might be the start of something huge. This is no ordinary July. This is NFL chaos at its finest. The last 48 hours in the NFL have been absolutely wild. And I don't say that lightly. Just when fans thought the offseason had slowed down, the league hit us with a 1-2 punch of shocking moves that nobody saw coming. First, boom! Jalen Ramsey and Minkah Fitzpatrick swapped teams, with Ramsey heading to the Steelers and Fitzpatrick going to the Dolphins. Let that sink in. Two of the best defensive backs in the league traded for each other out of nowhere. That move alone would have shaken things up, but the NFL wasn't done. Then, out of absolutely nowhere, Darren Waller comes out of retirement, and not just to return to football, but to join the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, you heard that right. The same Darren Waller who recently stepped away from the game is now back in action, and he's joining a high-powered Dolphins squad. But what does that mean for Falcons fans? Well, breathe easy. It definitely means Kyle Pitts is staying in Atlanta. The Dolphins were seen as a potential landing spot for Pitts, but now that Waller's there, that door just slammed shut. So if you're a Falcons fan who still believes in Pitt's potential, this is a sigh of relief. He's still your guy, for now. But this is where things get even crazier, because if you thought those were the only surprises, think again. The latest buzz is surrounding TJ Watt. That's right. One of the most feared pass rushers in the NFL is suddenly the center of trade rumors, and the ripple effects could shake the entire league. Here's the situation. TJ Watt is nearing the end of his current contract. He's got maybe 1 or 2 years left, but here's the kicker. He's no longer one of the highest-paid edge rushers in the league, not even close. And for a guy who's put up elite numbers, racked up accolades, and led Pittsburgh's defense with relentless energy, that's a big problem. He wants a new deal, a deal similar to what Myles Garrett just secured with the Browns. But with the Steelers now taking on Jalen Ramsey's hefty contract, some fans are starting to worry. Is there even room left to pay TJ what he's worth? And then, boom, the real bomb drops. Adam Schefter tweets that multiple teams have recently been discussing trading for TJ Watt. Yes, seriously. According to insiders, Watt skipped the Steelers' most recent minicamp and is reportedly unhappy with his contract situation. As of now, Pittsburgh isn't open to trading him, but that could change fast. If the Steelers keep playing hardball and TJ gets more frustrated, the trade talk will only grow. And if he hits the market, teams are going to line up with huge offers, including some that you might not expect. So here's the big question. What does this mean for your team? Could the Falcons make a move? Should they? Or will someone else swoop in and land one of the best defenders in the NFL? Let's hear it, football fans. If TJ Watt becomes available, what team should go after him? And Falcons fans, would you give up draft capital to bring Watt to Atlanta? Drop your thoughts in the comments and rate your confidence in your front office from 1 to 10. This story is far from over, and we'll be watching every twist. Now, before we bring the Falcons directly into this story, we need to break down what's really going on behind the scenes, because that tweet from Adam Schefter, it's not just a tweet, it's a message, and we need to read between the lines. Let me explain it in plain, clear English. In the NFL, there's a quiet power game going on between agents, reporters, and general managers, and it happens every single day. Here's how it works. Agents want their players to get paid. They want deals, big deals. So what do? They talk to reporters, the big names like Adam Schefter, and they drop key bits of information. Sometimes it's about a trade request. Sometimes it's contract frustration. And other times it's a strategic leak, like this one. And in return, the agent gets something even more valuable, a way to control the narrative, a way to speak directly to teams, fans, and the NFL world without ever saying a word themselves. It's all done through trusted insiders like Schefter. Think of it like a triangle. On one side, you've got the agent. On the other, the reporter. And across from them both, the team's front office, the GM, the decision makers. Now the reporter stands right in the middle. Information flows through them. The agent gives them a scoop, and in return, that reporter might also pass along what the team says later. Everyone's trading info behind the curtain. So when Adam Schefter tweets that multiple teams have been discussing trading for TJ Watt, don't just take it at face value. Ask yourself, where is this really coming from? Is it likely that the Steelers leaked that? No way. Why would Pittsburgh suddenly try to stir up rumors about trading away the face of their defense, a franchise icon? That would only bring chaos, pressure, and bad headlines. So the answer is clear. It's coming from TJ Watt's agent. And it's calculated. It's meant to do one thing: turn up the heat on the Steelers' front office. By leaking this story, the agent is sending a loud message. Our guy's not happy. Other teams are interested, and if you don't pay him, you might lose him. That's how the game is played. It's not dirty, it's business. Big business. And this is the first real sign that TJ Watt's camp is starting to play hardball. So now, when we go back and read Schefter's tweet that teams are discussing a possible trade and that Watt skipped minicamp, it suddenly sounds a lot more serious. The Steelers say they aren't looking to trade him, but pressure is building. Behind the scenes, the wheels are already turning, and that brings us back to the Falcons. Because if Watt truly becomes available, Atlanta might be one of the teams ready to make a move. Fans, what do you think? Is TJ Watt's camp making the right play by leaking this? And if you were a GM, would you give up premium draft picks for a superstar pass rusher who wants to be paid top dollar? Let me know in the comments, and don't hold back. Would you take the risk to land a game changer like Watt? So let's really break this down, because the deeper you go into this TJ Watt situation, the more explosive it becomes. Right now, TJ Watt is not just unhappy, he's angry. And it's not about who the Steelers traded for, it's about what they're paying him. The Jalen Ramsey deal? That wasn't just a football move, it was a financial statement. The Steelers didn't just add an elite cornerback, they took on his massive contract. And TJ Watt's camp saw that loud and clear. They watched the team bring in another big-name player with a heavy salary, while still ignoring Watt's own contract demands. That's the real issue here. It's not personal against Ramsey. It's about money. Watt wants a new deal, and now there's even less money available to give it to him. And here's where it gets strategic. Instead of coming out and saying, "We're mad," Watt's agent sends a signal through Adam Schefter. That tweet saying, "Multiple teams have been showing interest in trading for TJ Watt." That's not random. That's a chess move. It's a warning shot. It says, if you don't pay TJ, someone else will. Whether teams have actually called about Watt or not doesn't even matter right now. The agent's goal is to create pressure, to make it feel like trade talks are heating up, even if they're just starting. Now imagine this. You're Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, just starting your day. You're having your coffee, maybe scrolling through news alerts when you see Schefter's tweet, teams showing interest in TJ Watt, and more could follow. You pause. You weren't planning to make a move. Maybe you didn't even think Watt was available. But now, you start wondering, is this real? Is this my chance to grab a generational pass rusher? That's how this works. This tweet isn't just news, it's bait. It's designed to get GMs like Fontenot thinking, why not me? And now suddenly the wheels are turning. Even if Fontenot doesn't need Schefter to tell him TJ is a star, that tweet still helps push things forward. It speeds things up, it opens doors, it turns thoughts into phone calls. And the next thing you know, the Falcons are calling Steelers GM Omar Khan to ask a very serious question. You just paid Ramsey. Are you really going to keep Watt too? Or can we talk? It's not just about rumors anymore. It's about momentum. And that tweet? That was the push Watt's team was looking for. They don't just want attention. They want action. And it might be working. So what would you do if you were Terry Fontenot? Do you make the call and go all in on TJ Watt, or do you play it safe and let someone else take the risk? Let me know in the comments. Should the Falcons make a move or stay out of the storm? This story is heating up fast and we've only just scratched the surface. Now let's shift the spotlight straight to Atlanta, because this is where things get really interesting. We know TJ Watt isn't getting the contract he wants in Pittsburgh. The Steelers are low on cap space after taking on Jalen Ramsey's big money deal. And now there's smoke in the air. That means there could be fire coming soon. So here's the big question. Could the Falcons be the team that picks up the phone and makes a move? Could Atlanta say, "Hey, Pittsburgh, we see the math. We know you're tight on money. Let's talk about TJ Watt." It sounds tempting. On paper, it sounds like a dream. But in reality, it's complicated. Let's break it down. The Falcons just spent 2 first-round picks, not on offense, not on a quarterback, but on edge rushers. They bet big on James Pierce Jr., the electric speed demon out of Tennessee, and Jalen Walker, the raw but powerful talent from Georgia. These 2 guys weren't just late picks, they were franchise investments. And here's the kicker. Atlanta doesn't even have a first-round pick in next year's draft. They used it to go get their quarterback of the future. So if you're GM Terry Fontenot, how do you make a competitive trade offer for TJ Watt without a first-rounder? It's not impossible, but it's a long shot. Then there's the bigger issue, development versus dominance. TJ Watt is one of the best defenders in the entire league. He's a Defensive Player of the Year. He's a superstar. No question about that. But if the Falcons trade for him, he's going to be on the field all the time. That means fewer reps, fewer snaps, and possibly slower development for Pierce and Walker, 2 guys you just spent premium capital on. It puts the team in a tough spot. Do you go all in for a known superstar and possibly block your young rookies before they even take off? Or do you stick to your long-term plan, trust the process, and bet on the upside of your draft picks, even if it means missing out on an elite player like Watt? This is the kind of decision that defines front offices. Some fans might say, stop overthinking it. TJ Watt is proven. Who cares about unproven rookies when you can land one of the best pass rushers of the last decade? And honestly, they have a point. Watt would fit perfectly in this defense. He would elevate the Falcons instantly, and he could be the final piece that turns this team from a young, rising group into a legit NFC contender. But others would argue, you've got to trust what you built. Don't cut your young stars off before they even take root. This is the classic NFL gamble, win now versus build for later, and right now the Falcons are stuck right in the middle. What would you do, Falcons fans? Do you roll the dice and go get TJ Watt, no matter what it costs? Or do you stay patient and let your rookies develop into stars of their own? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Is Watt worth the price, or would you stick with the young blood? Let's hear it. Now here's the other side of the argument, the side that says, let's not rush into this. The Falcons could easily look at TJ Watt, then look at James Pierce and Jalen Walker and say, wait a second, Watt was a late first-round pick back in his day. That's right around where we picked Pierce. And Walker? He went mid-first round. So let's not forget, we might already have our own versions of TJ Watt, just younger and cheaper. Both of Atlanta's rookies are on rookie contracts. They're healthy, they've got fresh legs, and they're just getting started. Watt, on the other hand, he's pushing 30. He's had some injuries. And while he's still elite right now, how much longer can he keep playing at this level? This is where smart teams have to weigh potential versus production. Sure, Watt is a proven weapon, but you don't pay for what a player was, you pay for what they'll be tomorrow. And when you look at Pierce and Walker, the Falcons may want to bet on the future, not the past. Right now, if you're looking at it from the front office perspective, the smart and safe play is probably to stay the course. Let the young edge rushers grow. Don't panic. Don't overreact. But here's the wild card that changes everything. Job security. Because if Falcons GM Terry Fontenot starts feeling the heat, if he believes that his time in Atlanta might be running out unless the team not only wins the division, but actually wins in the playoffs, then everything's on the table. Let's be real. Going 9-8 and winning the NFC South only to get bounced in the wild card round? That's not going to save anyone's job. Not anymore. Falcons fans want more. Arthur Blank wants more. And TJ Watt? He could be the kind of player who saves a season or saves a front office. That's when a crazy-sounding trade idea suddenly becomes a real conversation. What if the Falcons say, "We'll give you James Pierce. We'll throw in draft picks too. Give us Watt." Would that be too risky? Maybe, but maybe not. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Not every first-round pick turns into a star. James Pierce might become the next elite pass rusher. Or he could end up like Tack McKinley or Vic Beasley, flashes of potential that never fully delivered. Is that going to happen? We don't know. Nobody does. But if you had the chance to trade uncertain potential for a proven superstar, would you take it? That's the question the Falcons front office has to answer. And fast. So here it is, Falcons fans, time to speak up. Would you trade James Pierce and picks for TJ Watt if it meant a real playoff push this year? Do you bet on youth and potential, or do you go get a monster like Watt and swing for the fences? Drop your answer in the comments and rate the move from 1 to 10. Would it be genius or would it backfire?